So good morning, everyone, all the fresh-faced people who join me on the Zoom today. We are going to cover a very exciting topic, which is how to double your profit. And I'm not lying when I say this. So this is what we're going to go through today is a tried and tested method for how you can step by step do the calculation, and just by making little increases across all the parts of your business, you can actually double the margin of profit that you can create in your business. So the idea today is to go through those drivers or levers or whatever you want to call them. And I want you to be taking notes definitely through this session, because at each stage, I want you to be thinking about your own business and how you're doing it, and thinking about other options you could be doing at each stage. Because I think when we go through this, you're going to be looking at this going, I know this already. I know that I need to increase this, but how do I do it? So today we're going to talk about the stages that you can increase and the steps you can kind of work on to get better in order to double your profit. But obviously, if you are sitting there thinking about it and you get a bit stuck, as in, Rhonwyn, that's great, but I don't know what I would do in my business, please throw it in the chat or the Q&A. And we've got a good crowd on today. We've got about, there's about 17 on so far, and we had like 70 registered. So I'm sure some people might join in as we go. So what we'll do is if we want to work on a little bit more, maybe at the end, if you throw it in the Q&A, we might work on it as a bit of a group brainstorm, okay? I think we'll have some time. All right, we've got some in the chat. Hi, everybody. All right, so from here, let me just introduce you a little bit to who I am. My name is Rhonwyn Learner. Rhonwyn, like Rhonwyn, but with no B, so busy it flies away. And learner because I love to learn, I love to teach. So I am a trainer by trade. I've been doing workshops. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say how long, so we won't say exactly how long, but more than a decade. 2 decades is pushing it, maybe. Let's hope I have a useful appearance still. So I at the moment am a full-time digital advisor with the program Digital Solutions. I do run my own businesses though, so it's like even this past week I think I've done like 3 all-nighters to try and get the work done. So I feel your pain. Absolutely, I'm a small business owner myself. So I won't go into too much about the other businesses I do, but obviously if I'm a trainer by trade, one of them is probably education and helping small business. But my focus is predominantly startups. So I work with people who are about to start, they've just started, or in their first few years, and they're trying to kick it off and they're just not quite getting there and they can't figure out why. So I'm the person you come to at that point to go, Rhonwyn, help me, fix me, what am I doing, sort me out. So I have a background in marketing and behavioral science. So I do some topics on staff intelligence, emotional intelligence, and management and leadership and things like that. So that's another business. And I'm getting more into the digital, into cybersecurity and that. So it's a long day. But, there's always lots to do and there's always lots of people to help, but I will always make time for you. So if you need help after this session, please reach out. I'll put my email address at the end of the session as well, again. And it could be about the Digital Solutions program, which I'll explain at the end. So if you're not already a part of Digital Solutions, I'll tell you about the eligibility at the end of the program, at the end of today's session, and I'll give you a heads up. It's only $44, so stay tuned. You're gonna love it. All right, let's get into it. So for starters, I want you to pop in the chat and I want you to say what's your name and what kind of business you're in. If we were doing this a live session, you would absolutely be networking, right? So I want you guys to take advantage of that and introduce yourself. And I tell you what, as we get started, I'm happy to do like a bit of a shout out. So remember, this is going on YouTube. So if you want to put in your name, your business name, and if you want to, you could say why you came on today, but I feel like it's probably pretty obvious. And yeah, I'll run through and I'll do a bit of an intro for you guys. If you're watching back the recording, don't feel sad that you missed this bit. That's fine. You're all very, very busy business people, and that's why we do the recording, so it's totally fine. All right, so have a look through there. I've already introduced myself, so it's your turn. All right, we are really just going to get straight into it. So I want to start off by asking you guys a very, very basic question, okay? I want to ask you guys, if I said to you right now, are you happy with how much money you make in your business? Would the answer be, oh yeah, I'm super happy with how much I make in my business. I'm like making $1 million a year and it's just me. Yeah. How many people are there? Oh, we have a raised hand. Hello, Carmen. Would you like to speak? Okay, so if I asked you again, if you're happy with your profits, I'm guessing the answer is no. And at this point, I really want to, I guess, reiterate to you or express, like, emphasize to you that profits and sales are not the same thing. Usually when I talk to a business about whether they want to make more money or how they want to make more money or really the pain that they're experiencing in their business, the most common thing I get is, I really want to get more customers. Yeah, I want to get more customers. And I hear you, like, that is a good starting point. That's the starting point, especially if you're a startup. It's how do we get customers into our business, right? That's exactly what it's about. But that's a very time-consuming, labor-intensive, costly game. Like, acquiring new customers is it's quite expensive, actually. Even if you have some really good organic traffic and organic reach, at some point you kind of have to spend the time converting them and doing everything else. So you kind of have to ask yourself the question of, what else could I be doing here? So we are going to cover. We are going to talk a little bit about, like, how do you get more customers? Because I think that's probably a question that, is part of this process. But as well as that, we have to understand that there's more to it than making money, and sales and profits are two different things. So while we are going to talk briefly about sales today, we are going to mostly focus on how do we actually turn those sales into profit in our business. Yeah. All right. Let's do some shout outs. Let's check out the chat and see what we got. Who's here today? Ooh, everybody's jumping in. Hello. All right. So we've got Catherine Krenz, who's an environmental consultant. That's great. Or has environmental consultant agency. Nice. Catherine Krenz. Hello, I'm Jess, and I'm a cabaret and festival producer. That's amazing. I've had some artists through here, and I haven't seen cabaret yet, so well done. So everybody needs some festivals going. It's definitely the time to jump on board. Okay, I'm going to just apologize up front if I get any of these names, if I pronounce them wrong. I'm really sorry. Alaya Hutchinson. I own Soap Cult Australia. We make unusual handmade soap and some home decor through partnerships and other female-led small businesses. Love it. I'm Fran. We're in chalet accommodation. Ooh, that sounds nice. Get away for the weekend. Chamley. Did I get that right? Interior design wellness consultant at Wellspace Interiors. Ooh, I can totally imagine that. A little bit of a zen space for a calm existence. I could use a bit of that. Karem Carasho. Oh, I'm going to do terrible. I need more coffee. Carasso, co-owner of Better Me Smoothies. Oh, that's nice. Chris is business advisory focused on international markets. Oh, I like that. So a bit of import-export. That's good. Hi, Ron. Got Franklin's River Retreat. And there's from Jade Cotty. We've got a bit of a link there. I don't think the link will end up on the recording, but it's Facebook to Franklin River Retreat. Sharon Musker, Wise Up Energy Solutions, electricity and gas consultancy for business. Yes, we go a few years back, don't we, Sharon? So yeah, Sharon's a good sort who can absolutely cut your energy bills. I know she can. Vanessa from Climate Clever. Ooh, and there's a climateclever.org link you can check out. Kelby, hi, my name is Kelby. I'm an advisor at Business Station. Hello. And an SME troubleshooter, yes. And Clelby also has his own business, Adaptique, so adaptique.com.au. And you can check him out and check out his business. He can help you with consulting, especially good with finance. So this is right up his alley. Hey, all, Mark Woodhouse from Proaxium, software solutions for SMEs. I like that. And Nick, Smart HR Solutions, online induction and document management software. regarding people, plant, equipment, chemicals, etc. Great. Wow, we got a really diverse crowd on today. We've got everything from creatives to troubleshooters to electrical and HR and everything. That's fabulous. All right, shout out to you all guys for showing up today. All right, so let's get into what these are. So what I'm going to go through at the moment for how to double your profit is really a look at the levers or drivers that do that. Sorry, my light's going in and out. I think it's the computer I'm using. I'll use the other one next time. So let's have a look what I've got. Okay, so let's go through the first one. I'm going to go through about 7 different areas of your business, and we're going to think about it as a flow. All right, so the first one we're going to look at is suspects. Now, suspects we also call foot traffic or web traffic, anything to do with people who are going to browse past your business. So if you're a storefront, these are the people who literally walk into your store. They might browse and walk out again, but that's why they're suspects. They might engage, they might do something, they might take another step. They might visit our website and then bounce off again and we go, why? What happened? Where did they go? That's right. These are suspects. Now, the reason they're called suspects is obviously because a lot of them are unlikely to convert, right? You've got to be honest. A lot of them are unlikely to convert. And the reason is because people in a buying journey, I hate to use the word journey so much, but if people are in the process of buying something, and you would know this yourself, do you walk into one shop, pick up one item, take it to the counter and buy it? I'm going to say chances are most of the time, 99% of the time, that's a no. The only reason that would be a yes is if you've been there before, done that before, bought that before, used it before, you know what you're going to get and you just pop in and buy it. That's a different thing, okay? We're going to talk about that later. Right now, we're thinking about the psychology of buying, which is really about where does a customer come from? And in what point in this process do they decide that they trust you enough and they're familiar enough with you to actually investigate a little further and take a step in, all right? So for the most part, people who are suspects, they're going to browse, they're going to look, they're going to check you out, they're going to start comparing you to your competition, okay? So this number, now, how do you track this kind of number? So if it's a store, as in a shop front, retail space, etc., I don't think there's many of those on here today, but just for example, if you're a retailer, then suspects are going to be literally how many people you can count coming into your store. And you can get a counter. I think last time I checked, they're about $60. You can get a counter that literally fits to the front end of your store and it'll count people as they walk in and out, right? Now, don't put it somewhere where you've got browsing stands, then it'll be like people, moving back and forth. They're just going to count. So put it somewhere right at the front, keep your stuff away from it and actually do a count when people come to the store, because you might have people working for you in your store and you say, well, was it busy on Saturday when I wasn't here? And they go, oh yeah, fairly busy. Well, that's not a metric. That's not something we can measure. That's not something we can work on and try and improve. So we really have to have a number on this, okay? So for retail, get a counter for your front door. If you're a consultant or anything that predominantly people are going to find you online, and retail, you can do this for online too. Retail, if you're not online, get online. Get yourself a website, get yourself an online shopping cart, and let people buy from you. That's what we're doing these days. If it's not you, it's Amazon. You might as well get on it. So if you are a web-based business, then there are things called Google Analytics and other analytics programs that you can use on the back end of your website to track how many people come to your website, okay? And you really just want to find out how many people are visiting. So we have what's called page impressions or page visits. And what that means is your analytic counter can literally give you a metric or a number on how many people open up your web page. Yep. And it can show you page by page as well. So if you do a promotion, an online promotion to try and get more suspects to come and check you out, you definitely want to be picking a page that's not your home page. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. Firstly, the home page is such a general, broad, this is who I am kind of page. You might have a call to action on there to get them to do something. We're going to talk about opt-ins next. But for the most part, you're really just letting people explore your business on your homepage. And when we do marketing, when we reach out in cyberspace and say, hey, come check me out, you really want to be talking to one kind of person with one kind of message, offering one kind of thing. And that's not going to be on your homepage. That's going to be on some other page in your website. Or even better, it might be something called a landing page. So for those of you who are getting new to this tech stuff and don't know what a landing page is, a landing page is a one-page website or a one-page web page. No menus, no footers, nothing. It's literally, you come to this screen and we tell you all about this one thing with the one message, with the one offer. This is what it is, and that's it. And you can either take it or you can leave it. All right. Anybody who knows how to search Google or any other search engine, I know I'm showcasing Google a lot. What can I say? It's very popular. But anybody who knows how to use the internet can easily just type in your business name and find your webpage anywhere. All right. So there's no problem. The reason we don't put menus and things like that onto landing pages is because we don't want them to start exploring and thinking about it and going somewhere else and doing something else. We really just want them to say yes or no. This is it. Yes or no. This is our marketing. All right. Now, you could just get them to do one thing, which is not a purchase. And we'll talk about that next. It could be just a step towards a purchase. But if we just come back to websites, landing pages aside, we'll talk about that a bit more next. Just talking about your website, ideally, you know, if people hit your website, there's a couple of different programs. So Google Analytics is a great one. And we have other workshops that talk about Google Analytics. So I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of that here because we'll just run out of time. But there's another great traffic measure to really get a feel for, you know, if your numbers say that people bounce quite quickly. So if it says the average page visit is 17 seconds, 11 seconds, 24 seconds, it's really, really short, which means they've checked you out and they're satisfied or they're dissatisfied and off they go. There's a great web tool called Hotjar, Hotjar, Hotjar. Hotjar allows you to get like a thermal impression map of your website. So for instance, if I found that everybody was looking at my header banner at the top of my website, it would be like colored in red, you know, to say, yep, they were totally, most of the people were hovering around your header, checking out the slider, checking out the buttons, and maybe click through. Or might scroll down and you might have a section about a particular service that you do, and that might be lit up, you know, like highlighted quite red as well to say, yeah, we've got to highlight this a bit more because people are definitely after this one thing. All right, we've got a few bits in the chat. Yeah, so Kelby's just mentioned if you want some help with landing page, we can help you through digital solutions. How do you spell that? Hotjar. That is correct. Hotjar. You got it, Chamali. And we also have a question. Is there anything that you can do to get rid of people coming to your website to just sell you SEO? At the moment, I think this is the majority and would be distorting any figures. Yeah, look, that's a very technical question. Can you get rid of people coming to your website? I don't think so. What you can do is if, for instance, you could do like a Facebook or a Google ad where you geo-gate it. So you basically say, look, I only want people from Australia to see this ad and click on this ad and come to me. Can you do that in WordPress? Yes, you can. In WordPress, I think you can also put a bit of geofencing around your website. I'm not a technical person with websites. I only know how to build them. I don't know how to fix them when they're super, super broken. So, but Chamali, why don't we, I will answer this question. I'll find out from our group of advisors and ask them, hey, you know, can we find out? I will say this, as a guiding rule, I would not be putting on my email address on my website, for example, because then you'll get spammed a lot. Now, for example, I had a client who said, hey, I've got an issue with Magento cart. And I don't know someone who is I don't know any Magento developers. So I put it on my LinkedIn. I said, hey, any Magento developers out there, can you hit me up? Now, I expected like my contacts to give me some referrals, and I did get a couple of referrals from my contact, but otherwise I got about 30 different people message me from other countries, and I was cool with that too. But when they took it a step further and started scraping my details from the internet, and then I'm getting messages to my personal emails and all that, and I'm like, that's a no. So, you know, what you can do is there are processes you can put in place to kind of filter people who are contacting you about that and that. But no, I don't think there's anything really you can do about people stopping people going to your website. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to make people go to your website. So, do you have your friend? Thanks, Kelby. I inquired with Squarespace. You're on Squarespace. They said no. Okay, no worries. So yeah, let me find out for you. Okay, I will find out after the session. All right. So we're talking about how do we get more traffic. So what are the main ways that we can get more traffic? I want you guys to throw it in the chat. Your experience in business. We've got nearly 20 people on here. Your experience in business. What is the one thing you have done that has gotten you the most inquiries into your business? Now, I'm not talking about converting to sales or any of those steps that come after. Just what have you done to be able to get more inquiries through your business? Now, landing pages have shown to be quite good. You can throw up a very simple ad, take them to a landing page, get them to do one thing. That seems to be quite a good attraction method. What I will say is, and please throw this into the chat, any examples that you have. I do get a lot of people asking me about social media and can I do an ad and get like thousands of requests? I'm like, well, that is the exception, not the rule. In general, if you want to throw your time and effort into social media, I think that's a really great place. And I think ads are probably the way to boost it straight up. But even ads take time to tweak, right? So try and do what we call A/B split testing. So an A/B split test is where I'll just stop sharing for a bit. A/B split test is where you might run the ad in two different ways. So it might be the same ad copy with a different picture, or it might be the same picture with a different headline, and really see which one gets the most traction. Okay, which one has the most click through and spend. And then you go, right, this one with this picture and this headline, this is the most popular. And then you take that and then you go, right, if it's the picture, we're going to keep the picture, and now we might do another A/B split test where we change the headline, right? So change one thing at a time, put up two alternatives, choice A, choice B, A/B split test, and see which ad gets the most click through. Now, a lot of programs will allow you to do an A/B split test as part of the program, like even Google and Facebook, and that will allow you to do that. Pretty sure. Otherwise, you can do it through organic as well. So you can say, you can tell any of your hosting programs or scheduling programs, hey, I want to do a split test here. You can also do it on the back end of your websites. There are plugins and options like extra add-ons to websites where you can also run A/B split tests, so that when people show up to a landing page or they show up to a web page, you can literally alternate it. So every second person gets pricing A and every first and third gets pricing B, right? So it's a very, very useful tool. Okay, a bit more in the chat. Facebook Marketplace 3-night special. That's nice. Landing page offering 30 minutes free analysis. Yeah, that's great. So there's a couple of examples. So both of those examples, thanks Jade and Kelby, both of those examples for what got you good traffic is really like it's a single offer or it's a single audience, and you're really like, hey, you, I've got an offer for you, right? With any kind of attraction method, you've got to be specific, all right? So it's really, really tempting in your business, especially when you're starting out and don't have many customers. We usually focus on traffic only, and we focus on getting as many people of as broad or audience as possible. And I want to challenge that, and I want to challenge you to stop thinking broad and start thinking niche, okay? Because just like you as a buyer will walk into a store and browse different options, any option that you're a bit vague on what it's for or who it's going to help, or if you have to say, is this for me, then it's a no. Every message, every marketing bit you do has to speak directly to a type of person. Now, if you decide that you have 3 or 4 different types of people and you think they all want to buy from you, that's great. But that's 3 or 4 different types of ads. Do you get me? All right. So now we're going to move on to the next bit. So now you've got some traffic coming through because you're either doing ads or you're doing organic, or you're improving your SEO, so your web page is at the top, and that SEO could be about blogs, could be content, could be videos. Videos are very popular. TikTok, get on TikTok. In the words of Gary Vee, like, you don't have to dance on TikTok. You just have to be there for your audience and be consistent. So any attraction method, we want one person you're talking to, one message you're trying to get across, one offer that you're putting out there, and be consistent and do it for a time frame. Okay, that's attraction, and that's getting more suspects to your business. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I did say we weren't going to go over. All right, the opt-in. So some people call this prospects or warm leads, any of those things. But the opt-in, what we're going to talk about right now, the opt-in, is really a trigger point. So between people coming to browse and people going to the counter to buy, there's a little bit of a moment that every buyer takes to kind of test out what you've got to sell. Okay, give you an example. Signing up to do the 30-minute discovery session, that's an opt-in. Going to your website and signing up for a 5-day challenge, that's an opt-in. They're not buying anything. It's probably a freebie. Downloading an app where they can practice their cabaret singing skills, that's an opt-in, right? Any of this stuff. If you are, like, for instance, if it was a performance, it could be a form for a quote. It could be anything. We're really talking about anything that gets a suspect or traffic to pause and commit to something. Now, we're not committing to a price or a payment at this point, although you can do some that are just kind of a token amount, like $7 or something. But really what we're saying is that we want to optimize the opt-in, okay? So now that we're working on our suspects, which is like single message, single person, single offer, get them in, get them to your website, get them to your store, then we're going to work on the opt-in. So the opt-in is try a product, try a consult, get a template, get a checklist, download an ebook, whatever it is. The one thing that you have to do at this point is you have to have the ability to talk to them again. That's the one condition you need to have. You can choose whatever you want, but the one condition you need to have above anything else is you need to be able to talk to that person again. So if they're in a store, it's not too bad, because hopefully you can get them to try out a product, maybe take it out of the box, have a look at it, imagine what this looks like in your place. Or if it's like an energy consultation or environmental consultation, like, why don't we do a quick 15-minute audit of what you've got? And then at least you can make an informed decision about whether you need to do this kind of service, right? So the opt-in has to be something where you can follow up. Now, why do I say you have to follow up? Because people are lazy. They're lazy, lazy, lazy. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean that observation is that humans do the minimum possible effort. Yeah, we make thousands of decisions a day. I think it goes between 3,000 and 27,000. It's a ridiculous amount of micro decisions we have to do every day. So we try to do the bare minimum. Yeah, we make, and we don't like change for the same reason. Change, I have to think about it. It's so tiring and exhausting all the time. Yeah, so you have to help them. Yeah, if you want their business, you have to help them. So this process has to be as smooth and frictionless and pain-free as possible. So quite a few times I'll see opt-ins on a website where people have to fill out like a huge form, and to do that, people will drop off, right? Or they have to do like what we call a double opt-in, where they put in their name, email address, and then they have to go to their email and they have to confirm to make sure that's them, and then they have to do this, and then they have to go there, and then they can finally get that download that you promised them about 6 clicks later. We want to make this frictionless to make it as easy as possible, because once they're in, you can fix it after that. Now, the double opt-in to get people to confirm their email address is not a bad idea, but the way around that is if you're going to send them something to their email address, then they have to put in a real email address. Otherwise, they're not going to get the thing they want. So, you know, instead of getting them to be kind of having to do so many pushes and buttons and clicks and fill this out, fill that out, just make it super simple, but make it to the point where they literally have to give you their contact details in order to complete the process of whatever the opt-in is. Does that make sense? So phone or email or whatever it's going to be. Can I repeat the traction method, the attraction method? Okay, so very, very quickly. So for attraction, we want a single audience, a single message, a single offer, and get them to a place where you can get them to do an opt-in step, okay? We just make it super, super simple. So the opt-in, this is where we say we might do the landing page, okay? So in the landing page, we want to be giving them all the info we need. Now, if you want to know how to do a landing page, we might even do I might do a session later. I know I've had quite a few people lately say, can you do my landing page? I'm like, no, I don't have time. but we could probably do like a 1 hour on how to build a landing page, because it's actually not that difficult once you know the formula of what you need to do. And there's actually really, really simple ones. So a super simple landing page, and this might freak you out a bit, but clean frame, one video, make it a video that provides value of some kind. So some sort of educational piece would be ideal. Not something where it's like you talking at a person, but it's you providing help to a person that really pinpoints that, what we call challenge or block or pain point that your messaging is trying to talk to and speak about. Do that video, and then about 3/4 of the way through that video, just after they've done the educational piece, and then you're ramming home all the testimonials and everything about, oh, you know, this is why it's so great. I've got a special deal for you. Button shows up under the video. Click here to get what you want, what I'm offering. Okay, that is the simplest landing page you can do, and it actually has really high conversion. Now, once people click on that button, if you want it to be a really thorough lead generation, so you're one of the consultancy type style businesses or something where you kind of need to, what do you call it, like a vet or, you know, qualify lead, then I'd suggest using jot form or type form. So jot form or type form, when they click the button, takes them to a form process where they have this, both programs have these really lovely layouts where instead of it being a form on one page, probably stop sharing this, shouldn't I? Be like me in the corner. Have one page form is the old style, and you can do it in Google Forms and all sorts of things. Even jot form has a single old style. And it's like, okay, so they can see the whole form at once, right? That's standard. What if you could show them just one question at a time, okay? And what that means is by showing just one question at a time, they just can kind of compel to fill out that question so they can get to the next question. So eventually they can get to the end of it and they're done, right? So if you give people a form with 20 questions, they'll be like, oh man, too hard, can't be bothered. That's not the bare minimum. I don't want to do that. But if you show them one question at a time, easier. They're more likely to continue to fill it out. All right, we better keep moving on. So now that we've got the opt-in, what have we got? Question. Yeah. Sounds really good. Do a landing page session. No problem. We can do that. All right. Actually, after this at 11 o'clock, we're going to do one on marketing. So if you guys are interested in doing more on marketing, I'm doing a workshop from 11 till 1, which is going to go through the basics of basics of marketing. And we'll also talk about how to build a campaign as well, which is a bit new. I don't think I've really mentioned it in there, but we're going to do it. All right, let's get back to it. We've got a lot to cover, actually, and not much time to do it. All right, conversions. Conversions is, you know, if we think about getting more customers, this is the sweet spot, okay? This is the bit where you kind of is the reward for the other two steps you did. Now, conversions is really where we're talking sales. This is where you get the lead, you've got the form, you call them up, because humans like humans, not machines, and say, hey, Bevan, I realized you filled out our form, and I wanted to let you know that we've got an audit ready, or we've got an appointment at this time, or I'm really looking forward to talking to you. Or it could be a booking for an appointment, in which case those 15-minute discovery calls, 30-minute advisory sessions, verbal audits at a time slot in their calendar. Yes, you're going to have some people not show. That's just humans, but most of them will. And honestly, the ones that do, they're probably more committed to the idea of investigating your options and what you have to offer further. If they don't show up, honestly, don't write them off, right? Sometimes you need to follow people up 5 or 6 times. But you know what? If you follow people up 5 or 6 times, nobody else does that, and you're going to get the sale. And that's how that works. Because also by about 5 or 6 times, that person is feeling really bad that they've been brushing you off. And they'll be like, all right, yes, let's do it. Okay. Law of reciprocity. So with conversions, if you've done the first 2 steps in a very value-based quality, I'm here for you, I can solve your problems. This is, even with the cabaret production and festival production, like if anybody's ever had to produce a festival, they know how painful it is, and stressful, and anxiety building, and there's the legals and everything else that goes with that. Like being able to express, yeah, people are getting back into live stuff. We're bless us, we're down to Omicron, and whatever version comes after Omicron is also going to be more like the flu. And I'm not writing off COVID, but I'm just saying that that's the natural progression of the virus through the history of time. Is you have something that's high impact, high mortality, and then I don't want to get into this because I don't want to be insensitive, but I'm just saying that we're probably pretty okay to start getting things underway from here on out. And I'm not a medical professional, and I don't work for health, so don't quote me on that. But in my opinion, people will be getting back in festivals and things. So yeah, absolutely. And that's a great community builder, and there's so many great advantages to that. But the fact is, you solve a very significant problem, which is if someone wants to put that on and they've never done it before, that's a huge burden off their chest. What state are we in? Oh, Chumley, I'm in Queensland. But we can talk about, if there's a further question that we can talk about later. So conversion. So if you've done the first 2 right, then conversion should not be too hard. The only reason that conversions are not going to work is, one, you've totally gone straight in for the sale and nobody cares. Okay. Nobody cares if you want to, I don't care if you want to sell me something. Don't care. What I care about is, can you fix my problem? Now, if I've already opted in and I've done something to say, yes, I could be ready to buy or take it a bit further, then all you need to do is to be there and support me. Okay. So you need to make it as easy and frictionless as possible to get into it. Now, some ways around conversions, if you have a very low ticket item, $20, $30, $50, $100, your kind of conversion style is not going to be calling every customer and getting them to have a 15-minute with you and do that like you'd be broke, right? So conversions for you at a very low ticket price is going to be very much an automated process, but the language, the copy, the buttons and everything you do in that process should be frictionless, should be caring, show empathy, and should really speak to that person. So again, in the conversion level, you're definitely making sure you're still speaking to that one kind of person. Now, again, if you have 2 or 3 different kinds you wanted to talk to, then you want to really be making sure you're separating that messaging out and you're appealing to each person in time. If you're wondering, if you're thinking about, let's move past this, because this is, I don't want to get into scaling businesses and things like that, but it does come into this conversation in the sense that, pick your conversion or your sales method that has the best result. So look, if you want to try a few different kinds of calling them, doing a landing page, doing a follow-up email sequence, just having a really clean website, or coming to a webinar, or coming to an event, or setting up a meeting, whatever it is that gets people to a conversion or a sales conversation or a sales process, Make sure it's absolutely dedicated to them and it represents high value. Now, if you are getting people to that process and they're not converting, it could be that either A, you haven't built up enough trust, in which case you want to go back and add more testimonials, more feedback, more credibility, more reviews to what you've done previously. And then you can build up that trust a bit quicker. So anything that adds credibility and trust will help with the conversions if your price is not that high. If you have a very high ticket price, sometimes it's just about how you structure the offer. So it could be one of the best offers I've seen, because I'm a bit in the online course space, and one of the best I've seen was and this actually went for a software program as well. I saw the same thing. The program or the course, whatever it is about $2,000, and that could be American $2,000 as well. But to buy it, you only had to put down $1 on the table. Yeah. So $1 on the table, and then the rest of the payment would be 20 days, 30 days, whatever later, either in one payment or most likely 2 or 3 payments. So again, you're making it frictionless. Like everybody can afford $1. Everybody is inspired to buy at the point that you've said what the great value is. So you just need to structure it in a way that makes it a no-brainer offer. We've got some chat going on. This is great. All right. If you're really sucking at conversions, please reach out. We'll have a chat and we'll go through what you're doing. The next one is pricing. So we just talked a little bit about pricing, and the thing to remember is that people absolutely compare your pricing, no doubt. You would have to have a really amazing funnel where you've got great attraction, super quick opt-in, go straight to conversion. It's a no-brainer offer. And then pricing is like whatever you want, okay? You can do that. And some of you might be really, really restricted in how you price your work. But I want to reach out to you and say that I dare say that if most of you have only been operating for a few years, I dare say you're probably underpricing yourself. And likewise, if you've been operating for like 10, 15, 20 years, when was the last time you checked your pricing? Okay. Now, when we're looking at pricing, we want to stop thinking about discounting. We want to stop thinking about whatever the other guys are charging. We want to start thinking about what value do we provide to the people we serve. So what we want to be thinking about in modern business and sales strategy is not, here are the features I offer, and therefore it's worth this much. And that's compared to everybody else. And so that's what I'm going to charge, because it's like a transactional pricing process and calculation. Put that to one side and think about this. If I'm offering, say it's the environmental thing, if I'm offering that a business is actually going to save money on water, paper, electricity, it's going to build credibility into their business for being more environmentally sustainable. You know what I mean? Because just by being more sustainable in a business, you inherently save money. Now, there could be a cost up front and a tail end to take care of, but it also builds into that social and corporate responsibility as well. So there's lots of value in taking up that service. If I came in and calculated as I do a 1 hour session and then a 2 hour audit, and then there's a 30-page report, and then we come in and do consulting, and that equals 10 hours, therefore $200 an hour is $2,000. That's a calculated pricing. That's not a value-based pricing. On the flip side, value-based is, you know what? It doesn't matter how much work goes into this. We're going to make sure that we save you at least 30 grand a year. And you're going to have more customers coming to you over your competitors because they see you as a modern, socially responsible, environmentally responsible business, and that's worth money. Okay? So I'm not giving you $2,000 worth of value. I'm giving you about $50,000 worth of value. Surely that's worth the $5,000 ticket price to have me and my team come in and do this for you. Do you see the difference? Okay. I'm just going to check the chat. There's a bit of chat going on. Thanks so much. Content's great. I have to go. No worries. Thanks, Graham. All right. Moving on to upsells. So once you've got your sales happening, and we've increased the average price that people are paying. Now we're going to increase the number of items people buy. So say you have a $500 item, or say you have a $100 item. You have to start making a list of things that you can sell with that $100 item. So you could do a promotion that's like bring a friend, and you both get it as a package for $150. Now that's different to a discount. A discount is, just come to me and I'll give you 30% off, right? Retailers are killing themselves, literally killing their businesses with discounting at the moment. It's really sad to watch. But in more the broader sense, you want to really get more money per sale, right? So we've already upped our price point. Now we want to up our item amount. So if you have a $100 item, think about upsells that are like 10, 20 bucks, 50 bucks. So it's not as much as the original item potentially, but it's that little bit of an increment that means that if you do 100 sales this week at $100, what's that, 10 grand? My maths really sucks these days. It used to be quite good. Instead of making 10 grand, you're going to make 15 grand. Do you get me? Now, this obviously we're not focusing on profit. We're literally focusing on how much you sell. We're going to get to margins at the end. But once you've got more traffic, more people opting to participate with you, and then from that group, you're getting more sales because you're making it very frictionless and easy to do, payment plans, whatever it is. We've got a great pricing method, which is more than you had before. And but also we're pitching it as a value-based pricing, not as a transactional, this is the culmination of my work type pricing. Then we're adding little add-ons. Now, if you're a service-based business, a logical upsell is like a guide, an ebook, a physical book, but think about after-sales service. And that leads us into the next one, which is repeat business, all right? We want fans of our business, and we want to structure our business and our offers that we don't just have a person buy from us once. We have people buy from us multiple times. And what we get out of this is what we call a lifetime value of the customer, all right? So how much that person usually spends by how many times they spend over how many years they're with you becomes a lifetime value. Now, once you can actually measure and figure out what a lifetime value of this customer is, that gives you some room to play, right? So if we say we made websites, okay, this is a really easy one to think about. If someone makes your website, they might charge you $2,000 for a basic 5-page website. Thank you very much. See you later. Okay. That's a one-off, and you may or may not go back to them, and they may or may not see you ever again. Okay. That's not smart business, although it's handy. Handy as a buyer. What if I said, look, we'll do your $2,000 website, but we wouldn't say upsell, but as an extra, as an upsell, how would you like us to maintain it every year? It only costs you 20 bucks a month. Cheap. Yeah, great. No problem. Now we've got subscription. Now, what if I said to you that if we made it $50 a month, then every 2 years we'll do a redesign of your website. Now we have repeat business, and every 2 years they know that they're going to want to update their website anyway. Why not make it part of the package deal? So now we've got $2,000 up front. We've got $50 a month, which is what, $600 a year. And we've got $600 a year for the foreseeable future. Now, if a business generally runs for 5 to 10 years, then the lifetime value of that customer could be 7 years. Okay. So 7 3 47, we're looking at about 7 grand or whatever for, a lifetime value of the customer. Now, if I know my lifetime value of the customer is $5,000, for example, then I know that spending $200 or $300 to acquire that person is still kind of fits my framework, or even $100. And $100 could be paying someone to sit on the phone and make sure that a conversion takes place, right? Gives you something to work on. But we definitely want to be structuring business so that we can come back. Now, the other ways to get repeat business is to get them to refer and advocate and share and all the rest. But mostly that comes back into traffic, all right? So if we have an absolute fan for a customer, then they're going to want to refer people to us. And that turns into our attraction model, okay? If you want repeat business, we're really talking about that one customer and lifetime value, okay? So how do we do that? We make sure that we provide value over time and that there's some sort of either subscription or consumable or after sale service that is part of that selling, that offering, okay? So if it's a product, you know, and we know this, we buy a car, we still have to do maintenance and petrol and everything else, right? That's the ongoing stuff. If you were to buy, I don't know, if I was to buy soap, and this was in the chat the other day, actually, it's like, well, what if you don't get much repeat business for soap? Well, let me ask you this, the person who makes soap here, what is in the middle of your soap? Like what happens when the soap gets down to the absolute end of your soap? Because in my experience, they were doing bars of soap or hard soap. What happens to that little bit is it ends up in a tiny little thing that I can't use, and it either goes in the bin or in my mother's world would go into a little bowl in which you squish it together in a couple of years' time, and you've got about 20 of them, and you make a new bar of soap. So, but what if there was something else in the middle of your soap? What if you had some environmentally friendly plastic, recycled plastic, that had a great saying and your logo on it? Or if you could have like an engraved QR code and people scan it and go back to rebuy their soap. Like, why does it have to be soap all the way through the middle, right? So you just got to think about, you know, be innovative with products, be innovative with the way you sell stuff. All right, it's just hit the hour, but we're going to keep going. Okay, so after we've got repeat business, then we're on the last one, which is margins. So margins is literally the difference between what you spend in your business and what you make in your business, okay? So on a product level, we call this cost of goods sold minus the recommended retail price, right? So if you sell, you know, a package of soap for $100, but it actually costs you $80 to make that, then the goal in this level is to get that $80 down, right? So if you've already increased the price and you're like, look, I've already done it, I've already made it 110 now, so I just want to actually get down my expenses. Like this is the last area to maximize your profits, right? So we've got more people coming through, more people opting in, more people converting. We've got a better sale price point. We've got extra items being sold at each transaction. We've got people coming back repetitiously to buy from us. And now we need to get our expenses down. So in every business, there's stuff that you're spending too much money. And I deal with lean startups every day of the week. And I can tell you that even in a lean startup, I can usually find somewhere where people could save some money. Now, where can you save money? Obviously, if you're doing products, you just have to look broader to different suppliers, or you look at you know, different ways of doing stuff. So I'll give you an example about margins. If you're a lady, you'll notice that a lot of women's clothes, the sleeves started to disappear. This is not coincidence, and this is not style. It is much cheaper on a like thinking about cost of goods. It's much cheaper to design a shirt with no sleeves at all. That's basically a straight cut, than it is to even just put on a little tuft of sleeve, right? So sleeves started disappearing from clothes to increase margins. Likewise, if you change the packaging for your items, if you change the way you deliver it, if you change the platform you're using your website on, all these kinds of things can help with expenses. Yep, we've got automated emails to go for repurchase. That's great. Link to your website, Google. Okay, we've got some chat going on. That's great. So with your expenses, the only way you're going to be able to get these expenses down is to literally sit down, lay them all out, and then go back to your research and start investigating every single expense you have in your business. And firstly ask, do I actually need this? Yeah. So I've met businesses that are spending $1,500 a month on Google ads, but when we sat down and looked at the return on that investment, it was like almost zero. They certainly weren't making back the $1,500 in sales or anything else. So do you actually need it? Same with big printers and an office space and all this kind of stuff. Do you actually need to have that? Yeah. I'm a big fan for people to, you know, use what they've got or use what's available to them for as long as possible before you have to go out and spend big money to go up to the next section. So we want to get that margin down. All right. So they're the 7 parts. Now we're going to put it together. Okay. And I want you guys to follow along with this. Okay. What we're going to do is at each stage, I'm going to go back, and at each stage, I want you to write down the number you have. So if you think you get 1,000 people to your website every month, I want you to write that down. And then for each one, we're going to try and think about 3 different ways you could increase it, because the goal here is to increase each of those 7 parts by 10%. Now, it might take you time to get that 10% up, but this is the math. There's 7 different drivers we've just gone through. If you literally improved each one by 10%, not doubling each one, right? If you want to double your profit is a calculation. And we're not saying you have to double every single one of those to double your profits. We're literally saying just got to eat up each of those stages by 10% on what you're already doing, and you will literally double the profit you have in your business. Okay, so we're going to follow along now. Okay, so amount of suspects. I want you to write down. I'm going to write down some basic amounts, and then I'll share with you. And I might have to get the calculator out. See how we go. All right, so I'm just going to do really simple calculations. So I'm going to say we see $1,000 people per month come and browse your business. Now, yours might not be 1,000. You might be a web-based business, and you're lucky to get 100 people to your website a month. That's no problem. If those 100 people are genuinely interested in your niche and what you have, that's 100 quality leads. We don't have to worry about it. So don't get too caught up on whether it's a good number or a bad number. Just want to put the number, okay? Now, if you don't know these numbers at this point, you know exactly what I'm going to say next, which is you need to set this in motion in the next few weeks. Give yourself a task and a challenge to be able to pull these numbers out of your business, okay? So how much web traffic, how many people from the ads, how many people are coming to check you out? That's it. How many people are checking you out? So I'm going to say, for example, 1,000 a month, which if we up it by 10% is going to be 1,100 per month, okay? Now those, how many people go into your opt-in, all right? Now it might be pretty low. Look, if you can get more than half clicking on something and giving you an email address or opting in or something, you're crushing it. Don't worry about it. If it's only like 10%, so if I go from 1,000 down to only 100 people, that's fine. What that tells me is that maybe I need to improve the copy on my website, or maybe my opt-in is not that attractive, right? So the great thing about doing these measurements is you can also see where the bottlenecks are or where the blocks are. So if I'm having really good traffic, but not many people are doing my opt-in, I probably need to change my opt-in, or I need to change what the website looks at. Whatever that decision stage is, that's where I need to focus my improvements, okay? Because the rest of the flow gets blocked. So from mine, I'm going to say, look, I'm going to say that from that opt-in. Okay, so we want to put the opt-in as a percentage. So I'm going to say, look, say 20% opt-in, and now we're going to go up to 22%. That's another 10. That's 10% on the 20%. Yeah, so from 20 to 22. Now we're going to have conversions. All right, so the percentage of that, like 1 out of 5 that actually opt in, how many people will become customers? Well, I'm going to say, look, from the opt-in, it's pretty easy. So maybe I'm going to say, look, 30%, which goes up to 33%. Then the average item price. So mine might be 2,000. This is dollars. Okay, so at item price, we're looking at the dollar amount. So we've got number of people, percentage, dollar amount. So that's going to go, I'm going to increase it to 2,200, which is 10%. Now you might look at that and go, there's no way I can increase my pricing by 10%. You know what? If you can't, increase it by 5%. Yeah, if your item goes from $100 to $105, I doubt many people at all would blink. If you went from 5,000 to 5,250, I actually doubt many people would blink, right? It's very, very achievable. Can I do it as in Excel? Yes, that's a great idea, Kelby. Let's do that. From a working on your business point of view, all right? This is really what I want to get you on board with, which is that you can absolutely do this. Do you know what I mean? You can absolutely do this. It's absolutely achievable to do this. So getting through each of those parts, I want you to go back on each of those 7 things. And if you haven't already, I want you to write down exactly what you would change, okay? Exactly what you would change. And what does that look like for you? So if you don't have an upsell, why not? If you are not, if you're not making multiple items in each purchase, why not? If you are not getting something for someone to try you out or try out your product or try out your service before you ask them to make a sale, why not? Throw it in, see what happens. Because if you were to work on each of those 7 parts and optimize them for everything that you can, and this is a continuous process. So this isn't something you throw in once and you improve once and you never look at it again. Like you could literally join us for a group and we could go through it every week to optimize. Because every tweak you do, every innovation you do, every improvement you do in each of those steps improves your bottom line at the end. And when you improve your profit margin, you're really taking the best you can out of your business. You're squeezing it in a nice way for everything it can provide for you and really turning it into an amazing asset for your business, okay? Now, we've got a few questions. So do I have a link to the marketing session mentioned? Yes, I will put that in the chat before we close up, or I'll email it to you. All right. Okay, you're able to give us an example first. Yes, Chamali, as I said, I will send you an example of that Excel to show you the numbers. So how would you double your profits if your business has a ceiling? So if you're talking about a pricing ceiling, Jade, then I dare say you just need to optimize everything else. But like I said, if you can't improve the pricing by 10%, improve it by 5%, by 2%. You just improve every bit that you can. So for example, if you find that you couldn't improve every item by 10%, I don't expect you to do 10% straight up. I said that. But if it's a case of, look, pricing is not going anywhere, we have set pricing, well, your pricing is your profit is the difference between your pricing and your costs. So you could try and work more on getting your costs down, which could be about automated, what do you call it, like reservation bookings, or it could be about, hey, putting out an excellent offer that gets them to do a package deal over just booking a couple of nights, right? So you just optimize where you can, and it'll all sort of leverage off each other, right? That's why sometimes these are called levers, because each one leverages into the next one. It has a nice flow-on effect. Before we stop, yes, thank you. Yes, and can we have the 7 categories, number, dollar, percentage? Yes, I will also do that. All right. So that is, I'm going to finish up the webinar there. Almost. First, I want to let you know that if this is something you want to work on, better than my mask this morning, do it properly. Be kind. But if this is something you want to work on one-to-one, can you please just email me, like write down that email, and remember there's 3 S's in the middle for Business Station. Send me an email from today, even if you're watching back the recording anywhere, please just send me an email. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn as well. You can type in my name. I'm sure there's only one of me. And get in touch and say, Rhonwyn, I want some help with this, okay? And we'll, yes, help you with that in whatever that help looks like. So if you are in Queensland, Northern Territory, or WA, hopefully everyone's got that email down, then this is the program you definitely want to be part of if you're not already. So to be eligible for part of this program, what we work on is anything digital for your business, for starters. And this obviously ventures into that general advisory bit around, okay, optimizing customer retention and all that sort of stuff, okay? But absolutely, working on your website is part of this process. Figuring out if you want to do a landing page, what that looks like is part of this process. Doing social media, digital marketing, SEO, SEM, pay-per-click, all that kind of stuff, it's part of this process. So if you want to optimize all those different areas, this is definitely the program you can lean on to help you do that. So what does this program actually have in it for $44? What it has is you get 3 hours of one-to-one advisory. So you could sit with me for 3 hours, like 1, 2, 3 sessions. You might have Kelby in the middle to help with that pricing thing, or how to work a CRM or automation. And as well as that, you can come to more workshops and webinars just like this one. So the difference is inside the program, your advisor who has your first session will kind of prescribe to you, hey, I think this is where you need to focus and do that. But you can still pop onto the Eventbrite page that we have for Business Station or Digital Solutions. So if you go to eventbrite.com and type